Hey there. Now you know it's a problem, and a problem that definitely got out of hand when you find out the statistics and the alarming numbers of those who acquire STDs. More specifically, those who have acquired HIV/AIDS, but HIV more specifically because some people think that HIV and AIDS is the same thing. HIV is the virus, and AIDS is the virus that has progressed and gotten out of control. It's taken over the whole immune system, and it's at a stage where it's breaking down the body, and it's eventually going to turn into something that will lead to someone succumbing to the effects of the immunodeficiency, where it starts to break down the insides, the organs, and etc. Let me not get all, technical and going into details. It's something you can look up and you can research. But what's so mind-blowing to me is how, excuse me, the numbers are alarming, overwhelmingly high. And when you think about the time that we live in an age of advanced technological advancement, if you will, in the medical field, in human research and all of those things, right? And for the numbers to be so much higher than it was back when it came on scene, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was in the 70s or the 80s. So for HIV to be as high as it is today, that should be concerning to everybody, right? Especially when we're talking about young people. I would say people that are younger than me, and folks my age, I'm sure, and maybe some that are older, but just people in these communities that want to YOLO. You only live once, and they want to, live their life in a way of being unaccountable. I understand that grown folks is going to be grown folks. Adults are going to do what they want to do. But so my thing is, the best of us that actually care to tell, individuals that actually care to know and care to understand and want to be aware of what's going on in the world and what's going on in our communities, we can definitely, let people know. But there's some people that they either are ignorant and they absolutely don't know. But what's even more scary and alarming is the people that know and they don't care, and they think that it's a game. How trifling and how irresponsible and how nasty is that? So, it's one thing for people to be adults and to be engaging in, adult activities or being intimate, but, more specifically, the problem is the promiscuity. And it's even, risky for those that unfortunately aren't even promiscuous, because there are careless, irresponsible adults. And it's like, if you're an adult and you're going to be doing the do, which people are, it's like a culture of, hang loose, live, I wouldn't even say that, because that doesn't even mean the same thing across the board, but it's like a culture of anything goes, rather, and the over sexualization, people not caring, because it's not back when in the 70s or the 80s when this disease or virus first showed up and people were dying in alarming rates because they didn't have the technology or they didn't have the treatment and the meds, whereas now they have advanced treatment for the virus and people are living longer, but people don't care. And then you can't even tell by looking at a person that they have it. So, I wouldn't advise anyone to be promiscuous at all. I understand that people are human, and adults are going to do what they're going to do. And it is a fact that especially when people are younger, they do a little bit more experimenting and doing stuff that isn't as wise. So my thing is, if you are grown and you want to act like you grown, then there are some things that you should be there are some things that you should do as far as being responsible. You should want to know your status. You should want to know your partner's status. And you should be very careful, because even individuals that are in so-called exclusive relationships are being betrayed, and they're acquiring STDs and HIV and God knows what else from individuals that they put their trust in. There is nothing wrong with you being a responsible adult and asking and advising, having an adult conversation, a very mature conversation, because you are concerned and you care about your health and well-being, and asking your partner and telling your partner, hey, I care about myself. I am, very health conscious about my body. And if we're going to be doing adult things and we're going to be being intimate and acting like we're grown, then we should be responsible. I want to know what your status is, and you should want to know my status. And then, of course, the conversation about contraception. People want to indulge in sensuality and have fun and do these engaging in adult activities and more specifically being physical intimacy, when they don't even have the mental capacity. They don't even have the mental capacity or the maturity to even be engaging in such. But it is very alarming, and it is very disturbing to know that places like Texas have hundreds of thousands of overwhelming numbers of individuals that are infected with STDs, but more specifically HIV. And it's like, people go on about their day-to-day life like it's just another thing, like it's normal. There's so many things that it is just so scary and it is really extremely alarming. And it should be disturbing to some people. And it's just so many things that is unacceptable that the world has accepted and the culture has accepted. There's so much media and material and content and music and everything that is constantly promoting sexuality and almost to the level of sexual liberation. And like I said, grown folks are going to do what grown folks are going to do. But the problem is when you are engaging in certain behaviors and you're doing certain actions, there is always a cause and effect. And we should be having the conversations about cleanliness, about good health and hygiene, and, the consequences of your actions, but educating people on knowing their status and being comfortable with talking to their partners about, taking that step with being physically intimate. But I'm saying, like, taking that step, like people are really even having these conversations. This culture in this day and time is let's go party, let's go, get zooted, and, let's get buzzed, and, we're going to party hard. And then, then other things lead to other things. And it's just like, quick, smash and hook up type culture. And that's where we're at with it. But for the young folks that are, coming into this phase of their life and things, and those that actually have, good sense and a head on their shoulders, it will be very wise of you to have very grown-up, responsible conversations with your partner or your significant other when it comes to being physically intimate with them. And if they are anything good for you or mature or care about your health and well-being, they're going to be absolutely open to having the conversations and making sure that you guys take the right precautions and go seek the right, going to see the right healthcare professionals. Preventative care is health care, right? Preventative care is self-care. Preventative care, before the health care where you're getting treated. So being proactive, if you're going to be experimenting, exploring, or indulging, or engaging in physical intimacy, taking care of your body, keeping in mind that preventative care is health care. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. It's a very disturbing thing to know that there are so many people out there that are contracting this virus and disease, and they act like it's a joke and they really don't care. So keep your eyes open, your ears open, keep your head on the swivel.